How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and as we normally know, with another set comes another cube draft update. And since we're getting set 17, here is going to be the new video for what I feel will be good for the cube draft from this set. And we're going color order, so we'll go from red to blue to green to yellow and then to the multicolors, because in this set, unfortunately, there's no good generic black cards, and some of them, most of them, have a specified cost of black, and in the cube, black is more support color than its own archetype, unfortunately. But before we do get in the video, feel free to like the video if you do enjoy cube drafting. Feel free to also comment below if after watching you see anything like cards that I might have missed off this set, or you don't understand completely why the cards were included, and I can always comment down below, give a reply, and get a bit of discussion going. And also, if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, and if you hit the notification bell, that keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop by getting a little alert. And it helps me get to my goal for 1,000 subs. We're currently a third away there. And also, with every 100 subs I do a giveaway, next one being 400, and once I get to my goal of 1,000 subs I'll do a special thing, which I'll detail when we get close to the goal, because currently we're not even halfway there yet. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So with the set 17, we're going to start off with looking at all the cards I feel that are good from the set to go into the cube. And remember, with cube drafting, it's a benefit being more generic than it is archetypical, because while there are some archetypes, you're not always going to draft the archetypes, because someone else is drafting with you might be going for the same thing, so you're not always going to get it. So having a lot more things that are more generic means that even if you don't get them as part of the archetype, you can still play them well, but then it's nice to also have some archetype stuff. So starting off, we're going with red, and there are 6 cards I feel from set 17 that are good for red. So the first one being Trunks, Adventure's Advent. This is nice because it's a cantrip. So what I mean by cantrip is that when you play it, you draw a card. Basically, when you play, you just draw a card, and just one and cheap play, draw a card is fine. Activate main is relevant because it's part of the archetype from the set, and we're playing it for the cantrip. And this is not just beneficial as being a cantrip, but also for the fact that it's a Trunks GT, and in red there's a few Trunks GTs, and you could evolve over them. And speaking of evolve over them, the next one is SS Trunks Soaring Through Space. This is one that can evolve on top of every red Trunks GT, and when it does, you draw a card, and you just pay 1 red. It also a 4 cost, 15k with barrier, and it's got a nice protection from unisons as well, because while it's in a rest mode, your opponent can't attack unison, and it doesn't clarify a certain colour of unison. So if you're playing a different, like a multicolored strategy or just mono red, and you've got unison on board, this just protects it while it's in rest mode, and it has a nice little bit of removal in effect of its auto, where when it's played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 10k power. And this is nice because in cube, there's normally a lot of cantrips being played to basically just draw for your deck quicker, to try and find things that you're after. And as well as that, sometimes they're less left on board to be used for combo defensively or offensively, or sometimes there's the 1-drops on board that are beneficial to the game plan that you can remove with this effect as well. So it's quite nice. And remember, with the cube draft, you can always hard cast things with the pretty cost, because unlike with the normal format, there are strategies and ways to play things cheaper, but is a lot slower and more generic, like it used to be in the original when the game first started for cube drafts. The cube draft is like a throwback, normally with how it plays, to like the beginning of the game. And we're once again ignoring the activate main because it's not really relevant, because there's not many ways you can put cards under unisons, and there's not many effects in the cube that do that, so it's not really going to be used. Then we have SS Son Goku, Pan and SS Trunks, Galactic Explorers. So this is a nice one, and because with red, each color has an interaction in some way with unisons, and with red, its effect is basically giving unisons markers, which seems a bit odd because since red is always like power aggro and power reduction, but with red, it's adding markers to unisons when it comes in, and this one's a quite nice one to do that, because of its activate main, where limit 1, choose one of your red unison cards with taking power more, place this card under it from your hand or battle area, then mark it to the chosen card. So this is very nice to just, if you're going for a mono red strategy and going for red unison, or just playing a red strategy with red unison, you can use this to add more markers to it to keep it alive longer. And the benefit of that is that you then get to play this for cheap if you do that, because it's that first activating main, because it's got 3 of them, where you pay 3 red. If you have 4 more energy, play this card from under the unison, so you can basically just have a red unison out, and if it's there by turn 4 and you've got 3 energy, you can put this under it to give the unison an extra marker, so it can maybe do some of its higher minor skills, or just keep markers to keep alive, and then play it from under there. And it's got deflect, means it would be interacted with by any counter players, and you have a 30k under unison to just swing with. And it's also got a nice effect where he's got a board wipe in the fact that it's second activate main once per turn. By removing 3 markers from unison, you can choose all your opponent's battle cards, minus 30k them, and then give this triple attack, so you can have a, so if you meet your cards right with playing this and drawing it, it can be played for cheap, give you unison extra markers so it can survive longer, and then, or even to allow you to trigger the spirit boost, and then wipe your opponent's board, not annoying barrier by the way, and then give it yourself a 30k triple attack for the turn to finish off the game. And these kind of cards are nice because they have, like, nowadays we're getting cards that are like this, big boss finisher kind of things, but they're being given a 0 cost 5k combo, so they're not dead in your hand later on. So they could be used for a decent amount of combo power, not most, but the basic, the base number of combo power. And then we've got Giro Travel Support. So this is one of the super combos that's essentially a reboot of an old one, because back in set 3 we had a Giro super combo, and that one was from the old way, being a 0 cost plus 0 super combo that gained its combo power from its auto. So when you hit 4 or less life, it gained the combo power and drew your card, and this is basically doing the same, but now it's got the printed cost 10k, so it's still part of the Machine Mutant archetype, being a searchable by that, but now it's got a printed 10k, so if you need to use it and you're not like 4 or less life and you can't get the draw, you can still use it for 10k combo if you want to finish off while still being at high life. And if you do want to use it to like even play attack with, it's got 15k power, so that's more beneficial. Then we have Super Sigma. This is a nice one. Once again, ignore the activate battle because it's not relevant because we don't play any ever gadgets. But this is a 4 cost 20k barrier blocker, and has a very nice also of when it's played, draw card, so it replaces itself when you play it from hand, and then you choose all your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 10k power for the turn. And once again, just like I said with Trunks, this is very nice where sometimes your opponent have played cantrips, leaving those little bodies on the board that you can use defensively for combo power or offensively. And this is nice the way to remove them all. And even there's there's like 1 drops you get in the cube as well, which gives you some benefit by like paying energy to draw, like discarding a card to draw a card to help you fin through, and beyond to remove them from your opponent's battle area while giving yourself a barrier blocker is quite nice, and also replace itself is cool too. And then we got the last red card, being Baby Parasitic Villainy. This one's a nice one because it adds to the baby archetype in the cube, or the Machine Mutant archetype in the cube, by having the Union Zorb there to further go up the chain if you do get all the stuff. And if you're just not playing it with the baby stuff and just want to use it as just a base card to help filter through your deck, you've got the activate main, which is once per turn. Place a card from your hand at the bottom of your opponent's deck and then draw a card. This is very nice to put back cards that you don't want back in your deck to search from your deck, or just cards that are dead at the moment but you want them later on the turn, you don't want to lose them now. Put to the bottom, draw a brand new card, and the longer this is on the board, the more you can filter through. And while it's not as great as the other ones that we had back in set 8, which are like discard a card, draw a card, like those ones are more beneficial because they're filtering through your deck, so you're making your deck thinner to see more cards. This is kind of doing the same thing where it's not filling your deck, but it's rotating through your deck, putting a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, drawing a card, so you're pushing your deck up to find the cards that you haven't seen, and the cards you have seen are going underneath it to push it up. But that is all of red, and as I said, like only a few cards in red, and now we'll move on to blue and see what's in there. So with blue, we have I think 5 cards for this one, and they're more finishers and stronger cards because blue isn't the most, from what I've seen, it isn't the most popular with the cube. Like not many people seem to take blue or enjoy picking blue. It's mainly red and green that people more go for. That seems quite strong. Blue and green, unlike opposite the main format, are the less drafted or less liked to draft. There are some people who still play blue, pick blue and draft, but it's mainly the other colours. And starting off, we have card that isn't really in set 17 but came out after, like a bit after the last set. So I thought I'd include it in here because I thought it would be a nice one, and that is SS2 Kefla Supreme Warrior of Universe 6. Now this is mainly this is more of a finisher, but once again, just like with the 8-drop Goku we saw, it's not dead in hand because it's 0 cost 5k rather than 1 cost 10k. So you can combo it without having to waste energy to combo it off from your hand, and you can still charge it as well. But it's a 7 cost, 30k, and it has 2 of the keyword skills that really shouldn't go together, which is Barrier Deflect, and it's unique, which is irrelevant to the cube because every card is technically unique because it's a Highlander cube where there's only one of every copy. One of any copy of a card. And it is a nice finisher because of the fact that it's auto, where if you have 7 more energy, which is normally when you're going to play it, when this card is played, it gains triple strike for the turn, so a nice way to finish off there. And if you do happen to drop this and you still can't finish off your opponent and it stays on for longer, it gains you that extra advantage by activate main, where if you drafted more of the Universe 6 stuff, it's got once per turn where you add up to 1 Khalifa or KO card from your drop area to your hand. So every turn you just add back an extra card, as long as drawing a card for the turn and then swinging the draw card with your leader. So that's quite nice if you can't finish them off then. But normally, when you get 7 energy, you're going to try and finish them off and hopefully finish them off. But as I said, in cube draft, games can go on longer where there's more strategy and deck building to put your deck together, and games can go on to quite long. Then we have Android 8 Kind-Hearted Machine. There's another super combo, and more adds to the Android archetype, which is nice, which goes into blue, green, and yellow. And once again, being a really nice super combo, and it's a 0 cost 10k, triggers 4 less life, and if you do want to play it to help try and attack and finish off, you do have it as a 15k 2-drop. Then we have Sail, the Ultimate Bio Android. Now this is a nice finisher in blue, and it's more promoted the green blue, which isn't a combination that is used much in the cube. It's a nice way to finish off, being able to play it for cheap, and adds to the Android stuff, and also gives more finishes. Going to try to put in more finishers into the cube to help out. Like we've got some good ones already that are quite cheap, and this is a never cheap one technically because it's activate main. Then we got results of research. This is a really nice one because it's not just because it's a 1 cost extra card, and it's got 2 activate mains. One of them is more of a searcher for the Android cards, because it's a look at top 5 cards of your deck, then add up to 1 Android card among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. And as I said, Androids go in green, blue, and yellow, a little bit in red as well. So it's nice to have a searcher if you're playing blue with other colours and go for the Android route. And a top 5 search is normally quite decent. But it's also a nice thing because it allows you to make more use now of the old 7-drop set 2 cell without using the chain. Cause sometimes, a lot of time I've experienced from playing the cube, if you see some of the cell chain, some people would just hate pick it because they don't want it being dropped, someone having that to drop on them, because it is not fun. Like, oh, it's not as strong in the cube because it's just one off, but it can be quite strong if it pulled off early. And this allows you to play it, if you see it, have it to play without having to worry about the whole chain, because it's activate main for 6 energy if your leader card is an Android, so there are a few Android leaders in the set as well. You can send this card from your drop area to your warrant, play up to 1 cell card from your hand to the board. So you can play this 9-drop as well, but it just won't get its board wiped, but it's still it'll still be a 90k. I think it's better to play it in 9-drop cell from its effect, but it's more that is great for us. It's a searcher for Android, the Android archetype, and a way to play the 7-drop cell without having to worry about the whole chain, which is really nice. Then the last card for blue, we have Vegeta for the future. So more support for the Trunks Future deck leader that's in the cube, and it is a +1 because it's when this card is played, return 1 of your energy to your owner's hand. So you can put stuff in your energy, and you can better get back from this. And then add the top card of your deck to your energy and rest mode. So you basically gain card by playing this, adding back your energy, and then replacing it with the top of your deck. And it means you can put stuff in your energy and not worry about being lost, which is quite nice. But it only really works with the blue Future Trunks card, but it's a nice way to go help with it. But that is all of blue, so there's only 5 cards in blue. And now we'll move on to green and see what cards we have in there. So in green, I think this is another one that has just 5 cards. And green's already very strong in the cube, but there are some extra nice things that we're going to have from set 17 to add to it. And first one being a new unison in Frieza Galactic Dynasty. I thought this was quite a nice one because green has got quite a quite a few 1-cost green specified costs in the in the cube. It's got the Demigra at least, and I know it's got the Hirudegarn as well for to add parts to archetype, the Hirudegarn archetype. And it's also got a nice thing in that you can play it for any, like it's one specific cost, but it can't attack unless if it has 3 or fewer markers. But you can always play 3 energy to get this on board to make it like a card that survives quite easy and and takes a lot of hits to be able to remove. And if you do play it for free, or if it has 3 markers when it's played, you make your opponent discard 1, and then every turn you're plussing 1, then make it a 20k attacker, which is quite nice. And if you do replace an old unison that play this, you're gaining over markers due to its empower green 3. Then we have Cooler Mighty Sibling Space. So in the cube there are quite a few cards that allow you to search for a unison, search for certain unisons. Like we've got some that basically just allow you to search for either a certain part of an archetype or a unison with a specified cost. Now Cooler's a good one in the fact that it doesn't search for just a certain kind of cost, it gives you a range. Because its auto is when this card is played, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add it to 1 green unison card with a specific cost of 3 or less. Like it's not often you get or less on a searcher for unisons anyway. Among them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this allows you to look for it basically any unison in the cube that's green if you got in your deck from the top 5. And in the cube we try to limit the unisons to being only 2 specified costs or less, because we found that by adding more like high specified costs it's harder to deal with and they just become too strong in the cube. So we've decided to go for 2 or less, and Cooler looks for all of them if they're in your deck. It does have the extra benefit is also where with it, it's got an auto once per turn when one of your green unison cards is placed in your drop area, and it's copied from the battle area because unison cards are specified as unison cards in the unison area. You add it to 1 card from your life to your hand, so you can output Awaken, and it'd be go 15k for that turn, which is quite nice. And then we have Cooler Sibling Cruelty. So this is an interesting one. Like if you play a whole lot of unisons, you can reduce the cost because it's permanent. Where if you got for each green unison card in your drop area, place it then reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So you can potentially put it down to a 1 cost if you want to. And it's a 20k double striker, and it does have a way to recycle your green unisons with its auto. When it's played, you may place 1 green unison card with a specified cost of 3 or less from your drop area at the bottom of your deck, and if you do, you put it discard this card from your hand. So you get a recycle unison plus making discard and a 20k double strike, which isn't too bad. That could be reduced quite further. Then we have Piccolo fusing it further, so we're going to ignore the Unit Sword because it's not relevant in the cube, because I don't think there is a Namekian leader. I don't think there is, but this is just a 1 cost cantrip because it's mainly there as a green Piccolo Namekian cantrip. That's basically it. And then we have another Piccolo in the last card for green, and this is Piccolo fusing with Kami. So this is a really good one. So this has got some similarities with Assimilated Ability, but the issue with Assimilated Ability is it has barrier, and it's every turn popping a 5 cost or less to draw a card, which I feel is quite strong in cube, so we didn't put this play in. But instead, I feel the compromise with this is quite nice in that it's Piccolo fusing Kami. It's a critical 4 cut, 20k. You can evolve on top of a Piccolo or a Kami for free, so you can cheat out a little bit earlier. And it's got a nice activate battle once per turn. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less, ignoring barrier and kill it. Now this one's I feel is a better compromise to add than Piccolo Assimilated Ability, because this doesn't have barrier, so it's not a protection that's hard to come by, and it gives you the protection that's hard to the removal that's hard to come by in barrier removal with activate battle. So what every turn you can basically just mid battle pop something that's 4 or less, ignoring barrier. It has to get to combo, and without barrier it's easier to remove by a lot of things, and just it gives you the extra barrier removal and adds that critical pressure as well. I feel that's quite a nice one to add. And that's it for the green cards. Next we go on to the yellow cards. So with yellow cards in this set we have quite a few. I think we've got 7 in total for yellow, and they range from some quite interesting ones. So the first one we have is Yamcha Z Fighter. So yellow doesn't have many great unisons really, especially not of 2 specific costs or less either. And I thought Yamcha is probably the best one from the new set to add to it, because it's a 1 specific cost. It has that it allows you to get over things that are cantrips, because as I said, a lot of time people are just playing cantrips, leaving 1 drops on their board as just combo power for defensively or offensively. And sometimes they have cards on the battle area that are just using to help filter your deck and gain advantage every turn. And Yamcha is a nice card to help try and give you an opportunity to attack them, because it's auto, or when it has 3 or more, because when it's played, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards switch in the rest mode, so you can play it for 3 more markers, either using a power 2 or just paying 3. To rest 2 cards on your opponent's board and then you'll attack over them. Then it has the utility of, do you want to draw or put pressure on? If you want to put pressure on, it's got this +1, where this card gets 10k power for the turn. But if you just want to draw, you've got the +/0, which allows you to draw a card every turn. So I've always got really good utility in that, so I've added that to the list. And then we've got Trunks from the Future. So this is one of many self-awakeners, because not all, some leaders can self-awaken themselves with effects they have built into themselves, and some need outside support to help awaken them because they awaken at a certain life total. And Trunks is a nice one to add to that, because he's got that the alter which many have, which is add 1 card from your life to your hand. When it attacks, go up to 15k power and maybe gain some skills. Trunks, unfortunately, is just take a life, go up to 15k when it attacks. But it does have an extra auto. If mostly cards like this, if they don't have a effect, if they don't have part of the effect also give them a skill like critical or double strike, then they've normally got another auto or something else that allows to give them some other benefit. And Trunks' one is at the end of the turn you switch to active mode, so it's there inactive, hard to attack over, so you can use it again next turn and it's safe from attacks. And it adds the Trunks Future archetype and the yellow Saiyan and Earthling cards as well. Then we have Piccolo with Nail's Might, so never a good Piccolo card. We haven't got too many Piccolo cards, but it's a never option for some cards in the cube as well. And it's really nice removal as well, which is, it's just nice to add. It's a very good card because it's a free cost 20k, which is already above curve because normally free cost is normally 15k. And it's got a nice auto when this card is played or attacks, and it's not once per turn, so it could be up. It can happen twice when it's played and then when it attacks at the same turn. You choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. And normally if your opponent's trying to attack you to pressure you, they've got cards in rest mode unless they've got skills that restand them at the end of the turn. And this allows you to put some pressure on your opponent while also removing their cards. And it's also got another alter which could be useful where if you lead a card, if it's your opponent's turn, when this card is using a combo from your hand, choose up one Namekian card in your battle area and switch to active mode. So you can kind of protect some of your Namekians, but it's not often you can use it. You can use it for that first auto. And you can drop it cheaper by evolving it on top of a Piccolo or a Nail for 2 yellow energy, which is not too bad. It's a nice way to get out cheaper. Then we have, just like the evergreen Piccolo we got a yellow version of it, just being a cantrip and just giving us a cantrip that's a Piccolo and Namekian. Once again, we ignore the Union Sword because there's no Namekian needed to use it with. And then we have, just like Gero, a Son Goku Return to Earth. This is a super combo that essentially reboots the old promo Goku, the one that's got outside the Statue of Liberty on the Nimbus. Because just like Gero, that is a 0 cost 0k combo that needs to trigger to get the combo power and draw where you like to 4 or less. And this functions better because it's printed 10k to use it if you can't meet the requirement to draw. It can be used as a normal super combo in any other situation. And also it's 15k power, so if you want to play it to kind of finish off, you can if you have that option, if ever it comes down to it. Then we have Son Gohan, Son Gohan Furious Training. This is basically the Cooler for yellow. So Cooler was the searcher for green with different with special costs of 3 or less. Gohan is the same for yellow unisons for 3 or less. We ignore the activate main because we don't play the unison in the set that in the cube that it can play, but it's more there for searcher for yellow unison cards, which is quite cool, and it's nice to add those different options. Then the last one is Baby Demonic Parasite. So this one, unlike the other baby, you can't really use the unit sword because while there are Janemba cards in the cube, there's no baby Janembas in the cube. Because I'm not sure if I've got the red yellow one, but if there's red yellow one is in the cube, you can play that with it if you want to. But it's more to use the activate main like the other baby, where every deck, if it's playing yellow, has access to try and draft and play this, where you just every turn placing a card you don't want in your hand but you maybe want to see later to the bottom of your deck to draw a brand new card to kind of rotate your deck through your deck and push the cards you're trying to find up close to the top. And that is it for the yellow cards. So 7 yellow cards, the most we got, but then yellow, just like blue, isn't mostly picked a lot. It's mainly blue and green and red. And we'll get on, as I said, black isn't in the set because most of the black cards in set 17 aren't very generic or have a specified black cost, but black is support in the cube. So we're going to super combos because something we haven't seen since set 9 is any more multicolour super combos, but this set being the last set of a block, just like set 9 was, gives us some more multicolour super combos. And the good thing about multicolour super combos is in cube drafting, where well, at least in my one, your cube drafting as well. You're drafting the leader as well as your deck. Sometimes you want to try and find super combos early, but you don't know what color leader you're going to get, so you're trying to see if you can get it. If you didn't get the same color, you're going to try and look for a super combo leader. That's the same as your super combos to kind of mix well. And multicolour unisons are, well, multicolour super combos, sorry, are more beneficial because the fact that they can be used with two color leaders. So you can either be, because where they're multicolours, they either work with the two colors on it, so blue, yellow, work for a blue yellow leader or a yellow leader. And super combos in multicolours give you that option to have a choice between if you don't have a leader. And now we get another 6, which give more options. So we've got the Vegeta giving more options to red and green, and has that nice thing of being able to have out combo attack and then give yourself a blocker to defend, or give you full 15k combo aggressively. Then we've got SS Capital allowing you to have some board removal, which is nice for starting attacks, and in a combo put something that's in rest mode to the bottom of the deck. I don't think yeah, it's in rest mode, yeah. So nice removal there. And then we got Beerus, one of the only super combo that really troll with that trolls without outside help, because you've got ones like the Nappa that goes well with Healing Pod to get a troll from that way, which is a nice little combo. But Beerus is the only multicolour super combo that really trolls your card in itself, and it can work with any. Well, you need it to be red or yellow, but it works with like seeing any card, because it just reveals top card of your deck, and depending on the colour of that card, you get more effects. And if it's anything but blue, red or yellow, you basically just get to add that card to your hand. If it's red, you get extra, you make it 10k, and yellow you get the minus by 5k. When your opponent's cards in rest mode. So it was a nice one, and yeah, just the only super combo that really draws. And then we've got Android 17 and 18. Now this is one that more benefits the going for a blue green multicolour strategy, because just like with the Beerus from the last lot, it requires a certain colour combination to be able to be used and be useful. So it promotes that, which is quite nice. Then we've got Goku supporting red blue, and then we've got Cell being like the Nappa but for green yellow. So once again, another card that super combo with Healing Pod gets you more draws, because Healing Pod is very nice in the cube. And so these are all 6 super combo. I will be adding these with my update from my cube because I feel now with this set 17 we can I can update my cube to being 15 cards per pack now. So I'm gonna look into that. So soon you should have a updated list from my cube coming soon. And these are all very nice super combos, and now give every color combination 2 super combos to look through, so it's easier to find those super combos so everybody can get 4 super combos and have them work with them. And then we've got multicolored cards. So there's only 4 different multicolored cards in the cube, in the set that I feel is good in the cube, and because with the multicolor in this set, it's mostly focused on certain archetypes. Like there's a lot of in green yellow, a lot of Multicolour stuff, which is focused just around Multicolour and their little skillless kind of card. So there's not many options, but I thought these were good ones. And one of the best ones is Android 17 and 18 Limitless Energy. Now this is a really good one because it doesn't have its permanent of being a check land, because there's no Red Ribbon Army card, Blue Red Ribbon Army card leader in the cube. But the rest of the skills is very good because it does 4 cost 20k with deflect and dual attack. A nice auto where when it's played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with entry cost greater than or equal to their current energy, and bottom deck it, so a nice removal there. And it can be played cheaper as long as you've got a blue or green leader, with it activate main by paying 1 blue and 1 green, play it from your hand or energy. So you can charge it if you want to, and then play it from your energy at any point, so it's safe. Play it from your hand, and it works with our blue or green leader, giving you multiple options, which is very nice. And added some more blue-green support, because blue-green isn't the best kind of combination in the set. We added never arrival to blue-green as well, because blue-green probably has some of the not the best arrivals, but not the worst, not many as well either. And this adds a news one. You don't get many of the effects here, but you do get a nice 30k 1 cost arrival with a nice option of either paying a blue or green energy for it. So I feel that's very strong. Then we have Piccolo fused with Kami, another Piccolo card in multicolor. This is a nice one because it's a 4 cost 24k with critical and double strike, and can be played cheaper with his evolve skill of paying 1 yellow and 2 of any other colour on top of a Piccolo Kami card. And do note we've got more Piccolo cards being like cantrips as well to further go on. And if you do the evolve, it's permanent extend life, where it's nice protection, where if this card has 1 or more cards underneath it, if it would be removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you can place all the cards under this card in its drop area instead. So nice reward for evolving. And when you do play it, it's got an auto, which allows you to choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier and KO them. So more barrier removal and just more removal in general, which is really nice. And I thought it's a nice one, being a through barrier removal, can get some protection, and a 24 critical double strike is nice pressure. And the last card for Multicolour is the SS2 Kefla Super Powered Hindrance. Now this is one of the TP promos, so at least 3 of the TP promos are added in, 4 I think it is. And this one's nice to help with blue because it's a 19k 5 cost that has barrier. It has a nice auto, it's a cantrip where when it's played it draws a card, and a nice way to make your opponent think about how they're going to spend their energy, because it's auto limit 1, I mean you can only be this effect can only be activated once per turn. When this card is in rest mode, when your opponent attacks your leader, switch it to one of your opponent's energy to rest mode. So either they need to think about if they're going to use up all their energy to play their cards, so they can show you exactly what they can do that turn, rather than just do it one after the other slowly, or they just basically do it little by little, and if they either attack this to make it sure this effect doesn't go off, which means your leader's safe, or they attack your leader and get an energy rested, which is good for you. And it's a way to play out cheap, but is activate main by paying just 1 blue and 1 yellow, so involves a multicolour strategy. If your leader card is blue or Universe 6, I can't remember if there's a Universe 6 leader, I think there might be, I'm not sure 100%, but you get to play this card from your hand, so a nice way to play out cheaper. But that is all the cards for set 17 I feel could be good additions to a cube. And yes, if you're looking to build a cube, these are nice suggestions for you. You can take on board. If you feel there's something I missed, feel free to comment down below to let me know. Also, like the video if you enjoyed cube drafting, and also feel free to subscribe if you're new. Greatly helps me out, it's much appreciated. So once again, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye for now.